there. Welcome, civilians. You've arrived at the home of civilized and thought-provoking commentary. Get ready for elevation, growth, and experience. I am the civilized woman.
Hurts is benefiting from pretty privilege. Because he got up on that the press conference after the game, and he acted like he was Josh Allen. Look at this man with his cane goal, looking like Nino Brown.
New Jack City, baby. I'm my brother's keeper. Yes, I am.
We're all with $3,000 million trillion worth of diamonds on his neck, and he acted like he just went for 400 yards for 3 weeks in a row. Man, you had one good week passing, and everyone forgets it when he started batting his eyes at you. I could see Graziano in the meeting got all uncomfortable. Was like, oh, I think he's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, no, how do you deny it? I mean, look at him.
Hey, civilians. Happy Sunday. We're in March, y'all. I have been trying to get this video to y'all. I don't know for how long. I've literally had it up like every day trying to do this. Y'all heard before I started talking, you all heard a sound bite. This is surrounding the Super Bowl. Now, listen, I don't care. I'm an Eagles fan, so for everybody else, y'all may have moved on, but I'm still on it. We got our lick back. We won the Super Bowl. We celebrating all year. All year we celebrating. When the season starts, then we gonna be ready for a repeat. But there are 3 stories surrounding the Super Bowl that I actually wanted to bring to y'all that I wanted to discuss. One is surrounding Serena Williams. Another, Kayla Nicole, who is the ex-girlfriend of Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. And then the gentleman that you heard previously in that soundbite is Dominique Foxworth, and I want to talk about his wife. Now, let me tell you why I'm bringing this to you, and I had to start with that soundbite, and let me tell you why. Because the focus of this video is going to be, is it okay for you, this two focus, is it okay for you to tell your man that you find another man attractive? That's what Ashley Foxworth did, Dominique Foxworth's wife. He is a former NFL defensive player as well. And then, is going somewhere that your ex is, or being a part of something that is affiliated with your ex, is that you trying to get your get back at him? And that's going to be surrounding Serena Williams and Kayla Nicole. Y'all know that the Super Bowl performance was controversial. Serena went on there and did her crip walk. Now, if you're not familiar, I'm going to get into that later. So she did her crip walk, and then Kayla Nicole, of course, is a sports journalist, from my understanding, and she was there celebrating the Eagles. Just so happened to BTA her ex-boyfriend's team. But I'm going to get back to that first soundbite. Now, y'all, the first time I heard that soundbite, it took me aback, because I'm like, why is a man talking about another man having pretty privilege? Now, y'all, let's be clear. Jalen Hurts is a very handsome young man. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But it was very interesting to me to hear this man talk about another man having pretty privilege when he's supposed to be giving commentary on his play, on his football play. So I'm like, why he say that? That's really weird to say that, when he bat his eyelashes and he comes on there all flashy with his jewelry. Like, why would that have anything to do with you commentating on his game? And then I went back to the original as to why this next soundbite that y'all going to hear before I come back and give y'all more of my commentary is going to illuminate as to why that first soundbite makes more sense. And I started off with that first soundbite for a reason, because I wanted to work backwards. I want to work forward to go backwards to go forward again. So y'all follow me. I'm gonna be right back after this next soundbite.
Part of the game. One-handed catch by A.J. Brown.
Yeah, I saw that. That was really good. And Jalen Hurts threw it.
The tush-push fumble. Or
whose tush was being pushed?
Jalen's only tush.
Oh, I was sure me. Never want to be a football player more than now.
Okay, y'all, I'm back. So let me just tell y'all what y'all just heard. Y'all heard that squealing and everything, right? So, Dominique Foxworth, like I told y'all before, is a former defensive NFL player. He now does sports commentating on ESPN, and that was his podcast. That I don't know if he does it with his wife all the time or if she comes on there sometimes. So they just so happen to be commentating on one of the Eagles games, and so I guess he's asking her opinion. And there's this thing that the Eagles do that the public calls the tush push, but I think some of the players may call it something different. And that's basically where Jalen Hurts holds the ball and like everybody just works, and they do this when it's like short yardage, typically. And it works best as short yardage. So they push, everybody just works to push him, like Saquon, a running back, Saquon Barkley, others, they work to push him into the end zone, or to score the touchdown, or to get the yardage they need for a first down. So that's what they're talking about. And she said, quote, I never wanted to be a football player more than that. And she wishing that it was her tush that was being pushed. Girl, you are talking to your husband on national television, whether it's through television or it's through the computer, through social media. Why are you looking at your husband in his face and squealing about another man? No wonder this man came out here talking about something. This man has pretty privilege. Nope, it didn't make sense before. People had to go back to this to see why he was coming at Jalen the way he was. You make your man sound like a hater. Like, y'all, some of us has got to remember as women that our men are not our homegirls. The things that you would say, the kind of conversations you would have with your homegirl, you cannot have with your man. Here's where my issue is with it. Not that obviously there are attractive people all throughout the world, so it's not necessarily an issue with her finding Jalen Hurts attractive. I think the problem for me comes in is that she is saying that to her man. She's being giddy, all excited, like she's talking to one of her homegirls, and she's saying it to him where the public can see. This man commentates on sports. Now, I don't care. It ain't got nothing to do. I'm biased as all get out, but it don't have anything to do with being biased. Jalen Hurts has gotten a lot of unfair criticism, in my opinion. And I plan on doing future stories on that because I think the place it's coming from is not necessarily a purely football place, and that's my issue with it. Nevertheless, she has now put her husband in a position where he can't offer a critique on Jalen Hurts without it looking like he's being a hater because his wife finds Jalen Hurts attractive and had no problem saying that to his face on national television. Number two, part of a man's, in my observation, a man's respectability is the kind of woman that he has. You can start with her aesthetics, how she looks on the outside, how she carries herself, what her reputation, and how she shows that she respects her man. Other men looking at that may look at it like his wife clearly don't respect him because she was bold enough to comment on how attractive another man is to his face. That's gonna make your man look like a clown in the eyes of a lot of other men because you're over here in his face squealing about another man. You call into credibility what he does as a commentator. You also calls into credibility his manhood, his ability to have his woman respect him. So those are the two issues that I had with how she handled it. Is that number one, you are talking to your man like he's one of your girlfriends, and everybody is seeing that, and you're commenting on how attractive another man is, and you're calling into question his professionalism and his ability to do his job without it looking like he's being a hater and that he has ulterior motives for commenting in a fashion that is not all the way positive about Jalen Hurts. Now, let's be clear. His commentary on Jalen had nothing to do with football whatsoever. Nothing to do with football. It was clear. It just came across that he was butthurt because his girl was sweating homeboy and he felt the way about it. My guy, your issue is with your wife, sir. Your issue is with her. She's the one that she got that comfortable, which means I don't believe that's the first time she has done that. That's probably a regular thing that y'all do, except for it was just done in a way that we saw it, and now he got clowned for it at the time of when it happened. But I still wanted to bring this up because your man, ladies, your man is not your homegirl. Please just be very mindful of how we as women, we really do have to be mindful of how we interact and address our men when we're in public or when the public can see it. You should be respectful to your man at all times, in my opinion, but how your man is looked out by other men in society at large can be a detriment to you or it can be a benefit to you. It's not mutually exclusive. It's not separate from you. It's very important because part of what a man's responsibility is to us is to be able to protect and provide for us. So we have to do our part in making sure that we don't do anything that can jeopardize that or cause his ability to be able to do either of those things into question. And this may seem like I'm putting 20 on 10, but these are the things that came to my mind when I came across this, because first I saw his comment, and then I went and found hers, and then I understood why people were saying that her husband looked like a hater based on how she responded in the recording that had to do with her. So I'm gonna leave that there for now, and I'm gonna move on to Serena Williams. Now, this halftime show, y'all, was so controversial. It's just crazy how controversial it was. I mean, Kendrick was completely Kendrick. I think you have two camps. You have people who are just like, if I'm watching the Super Bowl halftime show, I just want to be entertained. I don't want to have to think. I just want to be entertained, and I want to have a good time. I want, nostalgia, all of those things. And Kendrick had so much symbolism that I'm sure at this point has been broke down ad nauseum. But the part I'm going to talk about is having Serena Williams come and do the crip walk on They're Not Like Us, which is has been like the ultimate diss track to rapper Drake. And the reason why even that part of it got a lot of some backlash. Off of that, you had Stephen A. Smith commenting, you had other people commenting, because Serena is a married woman, and it's been reported that she and Drake dated between, I think, 2011 and 2015. They dated. They were rumored to be dating, and of course, she's moved on. She's married, and people saw her coming on there to do the crip walk as a possible disrespect to her husband, or that she hadn't gotten over her ex, because why are you as a married woman coming on here and dancing to a song that has to do with your ex? Now, mind you, Drake has brought up Serena in the past. He has brought her up in his music. So, and I don't recall there being any kind of heavy backlash on him. There may have been some, but not to the degree that I think Serena got on this. And I can see both sides of it. But if y'all may not remember, but one of the Wimbledons where she won, I don't remember what year that was. I don't know if it was '08 or what year it was. She debuted the crip walk there at Wimbledon. So this is not the first time that Serena has done the crip walk on like some kind of public, stage, if you will. But this time around, the song had to do with her ex. But let's keep in mind, Serena's from Compton. Kendrick is from Compton. I think also from her standpoint, it's like, when on earth would I ever get to do this in the Super Bowl? When would I even ever be able to perform in the Super Bowl? So from her perspective, I honestly don't think it so much had to do so with getting her get back at Drake. Okay, let's be honest. There may have been some residual to that. I think the bigger part of it is that she wanted to be able to have this opportunity to do this on the Super Bowl stage, which it may be likely a once in a lifetime opportunity. It just so coincides with a song that has to do with her ex. Coincidentally, did y'all know that SZA and Drake dated? I never knew that. I found that out during that whole little thing about critiquing the Super Bowl performance, that SZA and Drake dated. So that was an interesting thing to find out. So I guess Drake had two exes that were performing with Kendrick. Now, in fairness, SZA from the beginning of her career has always collaborated with Kendrick. So I don't think we can even look at her as being like necessarily trying to get back, because her and Kendrick have a lot of songs together. So my thought on Serena performing at the Crip Walk at the halftime show, I don't think I never Drake never came to my mind. I can see why people thought that, but they have not been together for so long. She's married, she's moved on. Outside of this, I don't know of any stories where she has brought Drake up or been the one to initiate anything. So for me, it's nothing to see here in terms of whether or not it's okay for her to have done this Super Bowl performance because the song had to do with her ex Drake. I think she was fine either way. The last person I'm gonna focus on is the beautiful Kayla Nicole. That young lady is a gorgeous young lady, and she is the ex of a Kansas City tight end, Travis Kelce, who has now been the boyfriend of Taylor Swift for like at least a year now, right? So Kayla Nicole and Travis's relationship timeline, as according to good old Google Schmoogle here. So she is noted to be a model, an entrepreneur, and a media personality. And I remember I told y'all earlier on that she does do sports commentary. Apparently, she has a sports journalism background, so she does do sports reporting. So she interviews athletes. So it would make sense for her to be at the Super Bowl, because that's the biggest game of the year in terms of football, of the National Football League. So that would be something that she would want to be at as a sports journalist, as well. So I could see that now. Apparently, in 2017, Nicole and Travis made their relationship public. In 2020, they split amid infidelity rumors. I don't know who infideled or who didn't infidel. And then in 2022, they broke up for good. Here's my problem with this. One of the things that I came across as well was that she initiated contact with him. Apparently, he was liking a lot of her pictures, but he was not commenting, and he didn't contact her directly, which says to me is that he was trying to bite. He wanted to see if she was gonna bite first, and so he just liked a bunch of her pictures. I'm assuming he can't be the only one that liked a bunch of her pictures, or maybe everybody that likes her pictures always comment. I'm more inclined to believe that she saw he liked a lot of her pictures. She thought he was cute, but he wasn't coming in the DM, so she decided to be proactive, and she was the one that initiated contact in the DMs. I'm going to be honest. I'm generally not a fan of women being the one that are the initiator, or aggressor, if you will, in any interactions when it comes to being romantic with a man. I just feel like men know what they want, and they know when they want it. And if he's really that interested in you, he will take the first step in making sure that you know that. And he's over here liking all your pictures. He may have just been lusting after you. I don't know. He may have been lusting after you. Who knows? There may have been other girls that he may have been doing it to a bunch of other girls, and you just happened to be the one that took the bait and actually went in the DMs. Now, obviously, you're a beautiful young lady, so that's not a hard sell for him to kind of be like, okay, I definitely would try to jump on that. But from what I can tell, it seems like this breakup was very, very difficult for Kayla Nicole, and it's possible because she may have imagined herself being, the wife of an NFL player, or thinking that their relationship was going to go the distance. There was all this talk about how he He wanted them to go 50-50. She's debated that, and that I think she's kind of made it sound like she's the one that ended the relationship, but the way she's been acting would almost suggest otherwise, because ever since he's been with Taylor Swift, which like there was, I think, probably a year between her and him and Kayla breaking up when he started dating Taylor Swift. He don't even mention her. Like when she does interviews, typically when she's talking about an ex, it's usually him. It's not another ex, it's usually him. How, whereas if you go on the other side, he doesn't mention her. He's living his life. So it's clear that it's even reported that she actually goes to therapy, which I think is a good thing, but that also goes to show how the impact of that relationship ending on her, for her to be going to therapy. I She also did an open letter to black girls, which I'm glad she was able to get whatever she got off her chest. But I'm kind of like, this ain't really got anything to do with us per se. Um, this is you and this dude. Y'all broke up, and you seem to be having a hard time of it. I do recall there was talks about Taylor Swift's fans kind of giving her a hard time. But all in all, I really would like for Kayla Nicole to focus on just doing what she's doing in terms of her sports journalism, and in terms of her modeling, all the stuff that she's doing. And I would like for her, when she goes and does any interviews, that there's no remnant of Travis Kelce being brought up, because I I'm sure she has things in her own right, but when you look her up, a lot of times her name is paired with her ex. She's defined as, Travis Kelce's ex. She's a whole person. She was Kayla Nicole before she even knew of a Travis Kelce, and I would like for her to do things to make sure that she is seen as Kayla Nicole and not just Travis Kelce's ex girlfriend. Aesthetically, I'm not gonna hold you. I definitely think that like the way Travis looked when he was with her and how he looks now is two different things. His swag to me was definitely better when he was with Kayla Nicole than he is with Taylor, but that ain't none of my business. That don't have anything to do with me. But lastly, I'll say this for y'all know I talked about it when I did the Joy Taylor story about women being in men's spaces. There are things that men have the luxury of doing that we as women don't have the luxury of doing. And I'll give an example. For example, if there's a group of guys, and like all of them are kind of relatively attractive or whatever, and maybe a couple, maybe two or three of them are kind of interested in you, you have to be careful and really be wise about which one of those guys you choose to interact with, because once you have dipped in that well, you cannot double dip. For the preservation of your reputation and being able to not be seen as a pass around or a woman of ill repute, you have to do that. Whereas men don't have to. Men can run through a whole crew of women, because we as women are more willing to get down like that than men are. Men are very big on code, in my observation. We as women don't really stand on code. We feign sisterhood, but we not really about sisterhood like that. Like we feign like to be. So I say all that to say this in terms of Kayla Nicole. It would probably be wise of her, and I think she may have said this, if she would avoid dating athletes, in particular in sports where she covers. I think that you don't want to eat where you also use the bathroom. That's always my analogy. I had a coworker that we had a new male worker that came into the job, and she kind of mentioned him, and I basically said to her, yeah, I don't eat where I go to the bathroom. I'm not dating no coworker, because that right there is a recipe for disaster. And she was like, oh, you're right. Yeah, tons of other places. I know it's not as it's easier said than done, because you're at work all the time, or she's at these different events all the time, and she's around these kind of men. But I think she needs to lay low and make sure that she works on her reputation being that of of quality. So she's not treated as being common, or she's not seen as being like psycho or stalkerish, because every time she talks about an ex, or every time she's in front of a mic, she's always talking about this ex-boyfriend. So she's at the Eagles game, and at the Super Bowl, and she throws up the Eagles confetti, because the team that wins is their color confetti that comes down. And everybody is acting like, girl, just get over it. Travis Kelce needs to get a restraining order out on you. La la la, blah blah blah. Um, she can celebrate whatever she wants to. She can celebrate whatever she wants to, but at the same time, I'm not totally convinced that she's over him yet, because I have yet to see an interview where he has not come up at all, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Even if she does not say his name, she is saying things to let you know that he is who she is speaking of. So those were the three stories that I wanted to cover about. I wanted to cover when it came to the Super Bowl surrounding these women. Lesson number one: women, your man is not your homegirl. Don't talk to him like he's your homegirl. Lesson number two: don't be watch what watch how you move when it comes to your ex, and being in spaces that your ex is going to be, or anything that's associated with your ex. And number three, guard your reputation as a woman. Care about your reputation as a woman. We have gotten into this day and age where it's this whole, like, if men can do it, we can do it too. And we need to go back to reality of knowing that men and women have separate roles. We are separate entities. There are things that one can do the other can't do, vice versa. And it is okay. And it is not only is it okay, it is a great thing to have that distinction, and to have women behave like women and men behave like men. I think part of the problem in society today is that those are being reversed, or people aren't wanting to play the parts that they're supposed to play. So those are the three things I want to talk about. I don't care how long it took me to get this out. This is still relevant, because I think these are things that we see in some shape, form, or fashion, in terms of women relating to men. So I promise I have more content coming. Stay tuned. I want to thank y'all for listening to and watching my Latasha Scott video that I put up like 3 or 4 days ago. I kind of put that up and kind of didn't go back on YouTube, so I appreciated the almost 500 views I've gotten over that in the past few days. So y'all stay tuned. I have more coming. Until next time, please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.